Ladies and gents, boys and girls, Tuesday, April the 18th, 2023. Hope you are all doing well. Chris Phillips here, your host of the Daily Crow of the Spurs Up Show. I do apologize for being a minute or two late. Was about to go live and our camera sort of glitched out, so I had to restart the Mac. So again, I do apologize for the delay, but we are here. We are rocking. We are rolling, and we're taking your questions, your comments, your calls. As always, 843-790-3377. That is 843-790-3377. I see Braddock, Chad, Travis Allen, Skyland, Travi, John Edward, Ethan, Bruin Nation, GA, and Todd Smith. What's going on? Appreciate you all tuning in. Also, those in the Big Cock Club Discord, head to the TDC Questions channel, the TDC Questions channel, to be sure that your questions are answered. There again, guys, really excited to chat with each and every single one of you. And I'm expecting a riveting conversation as always. Again, your questions, comments, calls at 843-790-3377. You can also text that number if you would prefer to text in. So you got many ways to communicate with us, guys. Of course, as always, TDC brought to you by our friends over at Prize Picks. Go download the Prize Picks app or go to prizepicks.com. And when you do, use that promo code TSUS to receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100. Guys, you can play literally anything and everything, college sports, pro sports, you name it. They've got it over at Prize Picks. So many fans and listeners of the Daily Crow and of the Spurs Up Show have made tons of money with our friends at Prize Picks, and you should as well. So again, go down to the Prize Picks app or go to prizepicks.com. And when you do, use that promo code TSUS to receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100. Be sure to check them out and tell them that Chris from the Spurs Up Show sent you. Again, guys, cheers. Great day to have a day and looking forward to chatting with you all. First things first, some exciting news. Woke up this morning to a DM from our good friend Travis Hancock over at WFNZ in Charlotte, North Carolina. I will be going on the airwaves tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., 92.7 FM, WFNZ on the Mac and Bone show, again, which is out of Charlotte, North Carolina, which, you know, is really cool, guys, because it's one of those life comes full circle moments. And I'm sure I'll share this with those guys tomorrow. But, you know, as I'm sure many of you know this, I started the business in Charlotte, North Carolina. I lived there August of 2015 to May of 2019. And I used to listen to these shows in the morning, commuting to my corporate job. So to be going on those airwaves now and talking Gamecocks, I mean, it's truly a blessing. Guys, that being said, let's jump to the phone lines. Skyland, what's up, man? How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Appreciate you asking. What's going on?
Ready for baseball game today.
Yeah, I think we're going to kick Charleston Southern's ass. I'll be totally honest with you. But, yeah, no, anyways, it'll be a great opportunity to bounce back and definitely get some momentum going into a big weekend.
Most definitely. Braswell's pitching today.
Braswell?
Yeah.
Michael Braswell's pitching today.
I don't know if he's starting, but he's pitching today.
That's interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah. I think they also going to pick Dylan Eskew today, too.
He hadn't pitched in a while.
So I don't know who they're going to start or where they're going to go.
Right.
I would imagine them starting John Simpson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Because he has started before.
Yeah, he started at the Citadel, right?
Are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. I was going to say he started at the Citadel, correct?
Right.
Right. I thought he did pretty well in that game, too.
I do know that Braswell will be coming out of the pen tonight at some point in time.
That'll be fun to watch. That'll be very fun to watch then.
Well, McGillis will be back after the Kentucky weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's made an announcement or not.
About what now?
McGillis won't be back till after the Kentucky.
Yeah,
weekend.
I don't know. He didn't make an announcement. I think he's pretty discreet about everything. So
good news, Noah Hall doesn't have to have back surgery.
I did not know that. Okay. Well, that's good. That's Contrary to that's contrary to what I've heard. So I'm glad to hear it. We need him back.
He will be used as a reliever from now on. He will no longer be a starter.
Any reason why, to save his back or what?
I think the bat problems is severe, so it allows him to only pinch an inning or two.
Right. Okay.
Instead of going deep in a ball game and put that much more stress on his back.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's my own opinion. So, but that's about it.
Okay. I did not know that. That's interesting.
So when will he be back? I don't know. But as of right now, talking to his mom, Amy, that is the plan, to be a reliever, to not put much stress on his back.
Right.
Because to his mom, his mom's going to talk him up. Hates being out. She said that he is a competitor, that he absolutely hates not playing, and that he can't help his teammates. So he's willing to do anything he can do to help the team and his teammates to win ball games. And that's, if it's because he has to take another different role, he will do what he needs to do.
Yeah, and I'm sure he just wants to get out on the bump in any way, so help this team win games. So, I mean, either way, it'll be a huge addition to get him back. I know we feel confident in the pitching depth with or without him, but, you definitely would prefer to have him for sure in some capacity. So whether that's out of the bullpen or starting a game, good to hear that it sounds like maybe he will pitch again.
I asked about the surgery. She said we do not need to speculate. That is not true. That he's working with a lot of doctors, and it's the people that don't like Noah Hall that are telling lies and saying lies about his back. But he will be.
I mean, I don't know. I was just gonna say who doesn't like Noah Hall enough to do that, but
I will send you the screenshot when we get off the phone. But according to her, and she's well known, and she's in a lot of groups. She says that there's a lot of people that don't like Noah Hall. So, which I was shocked because I said that he's been the best pitcher for the last 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've never come across someone that did not like Noah Hall, but I mean, sure, I guess. I mean, whatever. I'm sure they're out there. There's haters everywhere.
I most definitely will send you the screenshots as soon as we get off the phone. But I thought McGillis was going to be back this weekend. Apparently not. The cast comes off next week. Then they're going to give him a week to rehab or practice. Then he'll be back after the week of Kentucky.
Right.
So I'm curious to see how Brownswood does do on the bump tonight, because that is the plan. So
I'll be excited to see him pitch then, because he was electric last year. So
does that mean he plays second to start the game and he goes to pitcher role, and does that take his bat out, or do they start him as pitcher so he can hit for? Take him out, he can, instead of hitting for a pitcher, he can go to DH spot. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I got you. I mean, we'll see. I mean, why not let him play the field and pitch? Why not?
That's what. If you do that, you have to start pitching first. You can't play the field and go to the pitcher. Start as a pitcher so you can hit for yourself. Then you can move to second, so they can open up another guy to then become a designated hitter.
Gotcha.
That's how that. Anyway, what was your takes on the past weekend?
I think it was a good team that had a bad weekend. I think Vandy's a really good team, and it's unfortunate that we won game one and then lost the series. But defensively, we've got to clean it up. I'm sure you would agree. We're one of the worst in the SEC right now with errors, which is surprising. surprising to say the least, but we just got to clean it up defensively. I mean, I think we'll be fine. I mean, you lose 2 of 3 on the road to a top 5 team, I mean, it is what it is, but you need to bounce back this weekend for sure. I mean, you got Florida on the home field, so now it's kind of, you turn it back and say, okay, well, if we're going to quote unquote make the excuse of being on the road and how tough it is to win on the road in the SEC, you got to protect the home field now, right, at Founders Park. So, but I mean, again, I think it was a good team that just had a bad weekend, a bad 2 days, and I don't think it's all of a sudden we're going to go into a tailspin, if you will. I don't leave the weekend hitting the panic button or anything like that. But the biggest area of concern I just see, we just got to clean it up defensively. And that's it. We got to clean it up defensively.
Right. The errors don't surprise me because we do have a lot of players playing were in positions they was not recruited at, like LeCroy and Petrie. Then I don't get the whole Cole goes to first and Cassis goes to DH when Cole's not catching. So the errors don't surprise me, but we definitely have to clean it up, and we definitely have to hit better. But people forget. People tend to forget. Vanderbilt or Auburn or Vanderbilt's a top 5 team, and they're well coached, and they're always going to be good year in and year out. I just who they are. They're a private school, and they can give people full rides in baseball, and nobody can.
Yeah.
People just tend to forget. Hey, Vanderbilt's a good team, a well coached ball club that makes you defend and puts the ball in play and has speed on the bases. They probably have the fastest baseball player I ever seen. So
yeah,
I just feel like you still went toe to toe with them. You didn't get blown out like they just been blowing everybody out. Number one. Number two, you had a chance to win, but you had a bad weekend. Stuff happens.
Right.
My concern now is can we find a way to to stay together because we are banged up right now tremendously. Can we find a way to stay together and continue to win ball games to get to 15-15 and get healthy in the postseason?
Yeah, if we can't finish at least 15-15 right now, my guy, we really did crumble and implode down the stretch. So I think we're fine. I mean, we're at the halfway point, 10-4 in conference play at the halfway point. I think 15-15 is the bare minimum. So I think,
wasn't saying we're not going to get 15. I was just saying this team's banged up. You got a few pitchers in the bullpen hurt. You like Austin Williams. He ain't gonna be back for another 3-4 weeks. McGillis is hurt. You got Noah Hall hurt. He can't start now. LeCroy's battling an injury. Hornum still got a broken foot. He's playing with. We are banged up, and I hope we get healthy at the right time. Because this team can be good if they're healthy.
Right. No, for sure. I mean, I think so as well. So, hey, every team's dealing with injuries, though. Every team's dealing with injuries.
You never seen baseball as the sport to get hurt in because it's not a contact sport, but you do find ways to get hurt.
Yeah, baseball. Yeah, I mean, everybody's dealing with some sort of injury. So, you just hope that you have your best 9 available. So,
I still think this is a super regional team.
Yeah.
I just hope, at the end of the year, pieces will fall back in place. We'll be healthy. Maybe Noah Hall can become back a starter if something happens with his back. Who knows?
Skyline, I appreciate the call as always, my friend. Always a pleasure chatting with you.
Always.
All right, man. We'll talk. All right, guys, really quick. I want to, this is on my mind. I'm going to speak on this real fast. I want to, how do I want to phrase this? Sort of a TDC state of the union, if you will. But I want to speak on caller etiquette real quick. And not speaking on Skyland, obviously, because I could have, whatever. I could have said something. But, and I'm putting the phone lines on Do Not Disturb for this because I don't want anybody to call in. I don't care who you are. I don't want you to call in. Not at this moment. caller etiquette. All right, let's talk about caller etiquette, right? And my number one focus and concern is quality of this show. Okay, quality of this show. Producing quality. People take their time out of their day, right? They could be doing anything else, but that 2-hour time slot, noon to 2, people take that 2 hours when they could literally be doing anything else and they tune into this show. And I'm speaking, by the way, out of a place of love, not out of a place of hate or irritation or being anything like that. Literally just giving feedback, right? I asked for you guys to give me feedback. Well, now I'm giving you feedback. For the people that call in, I'm no longer going to allow any calls to go past 5 minutes. Like, no more. As much as we all love the callers, I'm not going to name anybody by name. If you want to go longer than 10 minutes, 15 minutes, get your own podcast. Like, straight up, do your own show. Do your own show. Because a lot of you call in, most of you call in, the people that do call in, you call in to have a back and forth conversation, to ask questions, and to engage. And those are the fun convos. Nobody enjoys the people that call in and just ramble for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And I'm just sitting there not saying a word. Again, this is not your therapy session. This is not your own podcast. Again, you can start your own show, right? If you want to have a conversation, we can do so. We can have back and forth. But when I mean caller etiquette, the point of calling in is to take questions and to have back and forth banter and conversation. It is not for you to go on a 10 to 15 minute spiel. I'm not saying this as a place of like, I'm higher up, I'm this, that, but this is my show. Nobody tunes in specifically to hear what you have to say. And again, I'm not speaking solely to Skyland. I'm just speaking in general, but this sort of kind of opened the door for it. And like normally it doesn't really even faze me. Sometimes I kind of like it just chilling, but I know it's not driving value for the end consumer. I just know it's not. I know it's not. I've had feedback from people telling me, dude, this is cringe. This is annoying. It gets old. Like block this number, block that number. I'm not calling anybody out, but caller etiquette is a thing. The whole point is to have back and forth conversation. And like I said, guys, if you have so much to say where you need to go on a 10 to 15 minute rant, call your buddy, call your friend, call your daddy, call your mama, whatever. Start your own podcast. But this ain't the channel to do it. And I'm going to start hanging up on people, like straight up. When you get 5, I'm not letting it go longer than 5 minutes. I'm just not doing it. And to me, it's kind of annoying when people call in and they're not even asking questions. Like they don't want to have back and forth. They don't want to have back and forth banter. They don't want to have conversation. They just want to use this platform to air their own thoughts and their own opinions and their own purse sources and their own whatever. So I'm saying this out of love, right? I'm saying it out of love because I love everyone that calls in. But I speak, I think, for the masses. I mean, if you read the comments, I think I'm speaking for the masses that nobody enjoys these long-winded 10 to 15-minute calls, man. And we only get 2 hours. 2 hours isn't that many. And then you think of 3 5-minute breaks, we get an hour and 45 minutes. And if there's 3 calls that are 15 minutes, that's 45 minutes. We only get an hour. You know what I mean? And obviously, I'm not just going nonstop for an hour. So you're just taking away from the value that the show provides. Now, if you tune into like Feinbaum, you tune into any other show, from what I've seen, they let them get like one sentence in and they hang up on them. So from now on, I'm going to tell you all this. If you call in and you're being long-winded and I hang up, just don't take it personal. But just know, hey, that's feedback from me that I need to wrap it up next time. Like, you know what I mean? Get in, make your point, ask your question. And hey, there's some calls that I'll probably let go longer than 5 minutes, like yesterday when we had our guy on asking about the running back position and the like going back and forth. That was fun, right? That was good conversation. But just this straight up just rambling for 10 minutes, man, and talking about your personal life and what you got going on with mama and daddy at the trailer park and what you got going on in the suburbs and what you got going on with, bro, nobody gives a shit, man. Like, nobody cares. Like, I hate to say that. You know, nobody cares. We don't care. Sometimes it's funny. But I think what happens sometimes is some of our callers become a little too self-aware. They become a little too self-aware. And by the way, Trailer Park, I'm speaking of Big Dick Dale, by the way. I'm speaking on Dale specifically. I want to make that clear. But, like, some of our callers have just gotten way too self-aware to where it's like they're calling in almost trying to make it a bit, right? Like, and then that's when it becomes, like, really just you're not calling in to drive any sort of value to even, you're not even calling in to have conversation. You're just calling in for the sake of, like, it makes you feel good and it's an ego boost. Like, that's not what the point of this show is, man. So I just wanted to say that. Again, I say it out of love, but dude, I get tired of it too. And as business continues to grow and evolve, and like, I knew this was probably going to have to come to where the day where, you know, there's some people, let's just call it for what it is. Let's just be transparent. There's some people that we allow to call in that probably other shows would not, right? There's some people we allow to ramble that other shows would block their number. So I'm just saying, I'm saying it out of love. Call in, make your point, state your opinion, whatever. Ask your question, but get off the line. And if you're just calling in to rant and have a 20-minute convo, again, there are other people I'm sure you have in your life. You can leave it in a comment. You can literally leave it in a comment. But there's no need to call in and take up 20 minutes of airspace, even 10 minutes of airspace, 15 minutes of airspace. There's no need, man, because you're taking away from the value. And honestly, man, you're driving down the numbers. Like, people don't want to tune into it, you know? So again, as business grows and evolves, and like, we have to be focused on the product for the end consumer. We have to be focused on driving value to you all, because, you know, who knows? There might be a new person tuning into the Daily Crow. There might be a new person tuning into TDC who's never seen it before, and they tune in and they hear so-and-so on a 15-minute rant. And they're like, bro, this show sucks. You know what I mean? This show sucks. This show is boring. This show is dragging. Like, so I got to think about that, guys. I got to think about that. So anyways, I'm going to open the phone lines back up. And like I said, I'm going to give you 5 minutes. But if you go past 5 minutes, 1 second, I'm hanging up on you. That's that. So anyways, 843-790-3377. And hey, if you're not comfortable with that, just leave a comment. I read the comments, y'all know, and I see everybody in the comments that approves and says, thank God. And, you know, it's not normally something that really bothers me necessarily. It's not something that bothers me normally, but like today, man, and this is something that's been coming for a while. It's been coming for a while, but if you're not driving value to the show, you're taking value away, and I just won't have it. I will not have people on the airlines that take value away from the show. This isn't to like come at anybody or scare anybody or talk down on anybody. It's just keeping it a buck, which is what we do here. Keeping it a buck. Chad Godwin says, people stop the worry on the baseball team. Guys lost one series to a great ball club at their house. It's baseball. We're going to lose games. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're going to lose games. I think it's a good team that had a bad weekend. The biggest thing is this: just don't let it turn into a negative trend, right? Bad things are going to happen. You're going to lose games in baseball. The biggest thing is just don't let it snowball, right? It's kind of like golf, which you could argue this is like, baseball as well. In golf, one of the things that makes the pros is they never follow up a bad shot with another bad shot most of the time. Like, that's a rule of thumb. If you cannot follow up a bad shot with a bad shot, right? If you can follow up a bad shot with a good shot every time, you're probably going to be in a pretty good position at the end of the round. So same thing with baseball, right? Never follow up a walk with an error with a walk. Never follow up something bad with something else bad, right? Same thing in winning and losing games. The last thing you want to avoid is streaks, right? So I think this team will be fine. You got a great opportunity coming home this weekend. I'm not telling you if you lose 2 or 3 to Florida, you should burn it down. The sky's falling again. It's tough. This is the SEC. But, I'll just say that, you got them at home. You want to protect your home field. And Florida's a team that, yes, I've been very high on them. I know Brendan M's giving me a lot of hell. Brendan's giving me a lot of hell on how good I think Florida is. I think they are very good, but their bullpen is very suspect. We'll dive into them more starting tomorrow. Their bullpen's very suspect, though. I think there will be a lot of runs scored. I really do. I think there's going to be a lot of runs scored this weekend. And again, you got a great opportunity on your home field. You feel comfortable at the friendly confines, and you should be able to at minimum win 2 of 3. Braddock says you need a producer. It's gotten to that level. I mean, maybe so, my guy. We definitely need a way to screen calls. We do. We need a way to screen calls. Like, I don't know exactly what I would need, what the setup would look like, but screening calls would be good. Although I could just start saving numbers of people that I know call in on a consistent basis. But again, man, I just, if anybody listen, if you got any questions about anything I said about the whole caller etiquette thing, reach out to me directly. I'd love to talk with you and chat and have an open and honest conversation, guys. I've built this business. We built this show. I built everything I do off of transparency and honesty, right? So I'm more than happy to have a conversation with you, but I just felt like it finally needed to be said. It finally, because I see it too often, man. People just, they don't like, and it kind of, what irks me is like too often people don't call in to have a conversation. They don't call in because they don't call in, or at least they make it seem this way. They don't call in because they even give a shit what I have to say. They don't care what I have to say. They call in just to say what they want to say, and they want to use me and this platform to air it out because they feel cool. Look at me. I'm famous. I'm on the Daily Crow. Look at, like, nah, this ain't the spot. This ain't the spot. You can start your own show, start your own podcast. Like, hey, I know y'all weren't the biggest fan of her, but Lady Bree, hey, at least Lady Bree went and did her own thing. Lady Bree started her own podcast, right? Like, kudos, cheers. You know what I mean? Like, if you have that much to say, start your own show. I will help you get started. I will literally show you what you need to get started. But your 20-minute rant is not for the Daily Crow. It's certainly not for it on a daily basis. Anyways. Austin Greer, when you call in, it is a banger, my friend. Yeah, when do you call in? When do you call? Austin says, thank you for saying this. I get 30 minutes of the Daily Crow a day, and more than 15 minutes of it is the same caller all day. I hear you. Let Braswell cook indeed, my guy. Lynn Turner, so now we've held our own with 2 top 5 teams and really beat ourselves in Nashville. If we can zone in on defense, the sky's the limit. Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing. I mean, it's you can't make 6 errors in a weekend against the 4th-ranked team in the country and win. I just don't think that's not going to be a recipe for success at any point. So, and it's a shame you didn't get game 3 against LSU. It really is, because, if you were to win that game, are we having a little bit of a different conversation? Maybe. I mean, I think we still feel really good, but it would have been nice. It would have been nice just to win that 3rd game. But, guys, like I said, I think it was a bad weekend for a good team, right? It was a bad 2 days. You didn't play great defense. The bats went cold. Credit Vandy. They have one of the best bullpens in college baseball. I think we'll be fine. I really do. I'm certainly. I mean, baseball, guys, it's a game where, like, if you hit the panic button every time you lose a game or lose a series, like, you're just going to go crazy. I mean, I've got this thing hanging up back here, the 2010 national champions. That team lost 16 games. This team has lost 6. So, like, we're right on pace. We're good. We're right on pace. You know what I mean? So we're fine. We're fine. We're absolutely fine. Bruin Nation says, I really hope the Nick E. rumors are just that, rumors. Bruin Nation, I have not heard a single rumor about Nicky Mawari. What, sir, are you talking about? I have heard the news on Jalen Nichols, the rumors, which they're not really even rumors, but I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to spread the information from, we'll have JC Sherbert on Thursday and we'll ask him directly, and I'm sure he will share with us what is going on, or at least what he knows at this point, but it doesn't sound good on the Jalen Nichols front. It doesn't sound good. It does not sound good. So let's see. Jacob E., what point do we think about sitting Cassis and moving Messina to first and French to catcher? Well, then I was going to say who's your DH, but you could put like Hornung. There's other options. Jacob, maybe it starts tonight. Maybe they sit him tonight. I think, though, the reason you're seeing Jacob, and he was our who's not of the weekend. He went 1 for 11 on the weekend. But Cassis is a guy, Jacob, that, I wouldn't mind sitting him tonight. Give him a breather, give him a night off. I wouldn't be shocked if they did that. But also, Cassis is just one of your guys. You know what I mean? He's one of your guys. And so I'm not surprised they keep rolling him out there because they just believe he's going to get it going. He's in a slump. but they feel like he'll get it going. So I think if you're going to give him a night off, it's tonight, but I don't think you take him out of the weekend lineup. He's too lethal. He's too good because, Jacob, when he does get hot, he's one of your best hitters. And especially being at Founders Park, he loves swinging it there. He's had a lot of home runs there. I mean, we've talked about, we've talked about how, how favorable Founders Park is to left-handed hitters. So I think that the weekend series, you got to have him in there. But tonight, if you want to sit him, I think it will make a lot of sense. I think it will make a lot of sense for sure. So, Kyle Davis, any updates on Noah Hall? Well, Skyland just called in and told us that apparently that he doesn't need back surgery and maybe he's going to come out of the bullpen. I have no idea, bro. I have no clue. Skyland just overloaded me with so much information. I have no idea what's right, wrong, and different, whatever. I've heard what I've heard on Noah Hall from 2 different people that apparently it came from Noah Hall directly. So this certainly, by the way, I want to speak to, and I'm not insinuating that a guy like Austin Greer or anybody was insinuating this, but I'm certainly not spreading like false rumors or trying to confirm any false rumors. Like, I'm just telling you all what I've heard. That I've heard from 2 different people that have said they've talked to Noah Hall directly that his season could be over. So I don't know, though. That could be totally wrong. The information could have changed. I don't want that to be accurate, obviously. That's just what I've heard. But are the odds that Noah Hall's out for an extended period of time, are they true? Probably so. Probably so. We'll see, though. I hope he comes back soon. I hope he comes back soon. Bruin Nation said JC and them were talking on it. Said they hadn't heard anything but rumors out there that he's chasing a bag. God, if Nick Eamon-Wari hit the portal, holy yikes. Bruin Nation, I don't want to believe that, bro. Holy yikes. Holy yikes. Holy yikes. Guys, ESPN FPI, the Football Power Index, dropped this morning. And boy, oh boy, is this something that will be highly debated and talked about. The Gamecocks ranked 42nd in the FPI. Let me just pull it up here. Let me just pull it up. Let's see. ESPN Football Power Index. Where are you? Here we go. 2023 Football Power Index. Okay. The Gamecocks are 42nd. ESPN, again, this is their FPI, and it's off a decimal system, right? So, for example, UCLA is 41st. The FPI says 7.6 and 4.4 is their projected record. So, do you round up? Do you stay where you are? Whatever. Gamecocks are 42nd. ESPN projects us 5.5 and 6.5. So, ESPN is projecting the Gamecocks, if we round up, to go 6-6. I mean, like, guys, I'll just say this. No context needed. Florida is 18th in the FPI. 6.8 and 5 and 2, or 5.2. 7 and 5 is what they're projecting Florida to go. Is it bogus? Is it BS? Is it nonsense? You tell me. North Carolina is at 25th in the FBI. So, guys, probably seeing this and seeing some other things we've seen, there's a good chance that North Carolina will be ranked and Carolina will be unranked in that game, in that season opener. I mean, we've already seen the way too early line. UNC a 1.5-point favorite. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't know, man. What does the FPI really mean? Does it matter? No, it doesn't. I don't even know how they really calculate it, what stats they use or the roster, or, looks like, so 6-win percentage. They also factor this in, which this to me is crazier than anything else. Okay. This to me is crazier than anything else. Get this. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to highlight this so I can see it. Here we go. They give the Gamecocks a 48% chance to get to a bowl game. 48% to get to a bowl game. That is the 6 wins percentage from the FPI, the Football Power Index by ESPN. 48%. Not even 50-50. 48% chance that Carolina gets to a bowl. Who is making these numbers? Like, what computer, what slapdickery is taking place to where you're saying this football team has a 48% chance to go to a bowl game? Listen, I keep it as real as anybody out there in regards to, hey, if I thought this team was going 6-6, I'd tell you, right? I feel like I'm kind of always the one bringing expectations back down to a more realistic level, right? I mean, think about last year, even year before, right? I try to keep it real, but like to tell me that, Chris, there's a greater chance this team doesn't go to a bowl game than does, you actually think this team's going to go 5-7? You're smoking crack. Like you're straight up smoking crack. And it's such a slap in the face to Beamer and what they've built, the football program. I don't understand it. I don't. And thank goodness FPI means nothing. I mean, it means nothing. But 48% 6-win percentage. Crazy. I mean, that is Looney Tunes. That is straight up Looney Tunes stuff right there. That's crazier than anything else on that list. 48%. You're joking. You're absolutely joking. Anyways, it's, again, FPI's BS anyways. Doesn't matter. Let's see. Back to your questions. Your comments. Bad Brad says, going to be dope starting off the season with a top 25 win. Indeed. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I'm curious what the AP says for the top 25. Is UNC in there? Yeah, Chris, Clem sucks, ranked 8th in the FPI. And GA asked the question. I'm glad he brings it up. He says, what was it last year? I don't exactly remember what we were ranked, but just to give you some context, the FPI had Carolina 6-6 last year as well. So, again, what difference does it make? Let's see. I mean, actually, I can just pull up 2022. It's right here. Let's see. 2022, Carolina was 49th. Carolina was 49th in the FPI. I believe this is preseason. I don't know. This might have been postseason. I don't know. Anyways, silliness. Just flat out silliness. All right. Let's jump to the phone lines.
Call from.
Hold on.
Hunter, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm good, man. What's you?
I'm doing well, man. Appreciate you asking. What's going on?
Yeah, so about what you're talking about, that's what I don't get. So like, we'll like, start doing really, really good and all. I guess like you say back to 2012 and 2013 when we were like 11-0. I guarantee you they're probably putting us at like 9-3 and stuff like that. Like, last year we were doing, what were you last year? We're like 7-6. No, what were we last year?
8-5 was the final. Yeah, 8-5. 8-5.
Yeah, so 8-5, and now people are predicting us because we got the hardest schedule in the country, and I guess like now they're predicting us to go 5-7, just like you said, and that's I just don't get what the records are, or how they just project us.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'll say this: I'm probably not going to be drinking the Kool-Aid of 10-2, 11-1, or winning the SEC East, but I mean, man, 5-7 to me. Saying that Carolina is going to go 5-7 is just as, if not even more aggressive. I'll say this. I think it's more likely Carolina goes 10-2 than 5-7. I really do. I would be, barring any, I don't even like to say the I word, but like injuries or barring anything unforeseen, there's no way this team's going 5-7. There's just no way. It would have to be like a nightmare type of year for that to happen. And I just don't see it. So, I'll say this. To the point of why we've talked about why it's so important for Carolina to win 8 games this season, 8 or more. And we talked about this with my guy James Hickey of On3, talking about setting the new floor and stability with the program. And, South Carolina football, just to keep it a buck, man, we still just don't get the benefit of the doubt. You just don't, because people look at the Gamecocks and say, well, historically, they've fallen off. Historically, they're not good. Historically, I mean, you think about it. We've only won, 9+ games in a season, I think 7 times. We've only won 10 games in a season 4 times.
Tennessee. Look at Tennessee. I mean, they haven't won I guess like 11 wins in like who knows how many years since like 2001 or 2002. And like now people are projecting them to win, the national championship and shit like that. And
well, and to your point though, about Tennessee, why does Tennessee get the benefit of the doubt? They've won a national championship, and they're a top 10 all-time winning program in college football. That's why. I mean, you may not like it, but that's why. People still view Tennessee, especially those who cover it for a living, right? They're probably older dudes, and they remember Tennessee being really, really good for a sustained period of time. South Carolina does not get that benefit of the doubt. It just it's and that's what Shane Beamer's fighting to change, is the perception of Gamecocks football. And hey, you keep winning and you keep recruiting the way you are, it will change. That you won't have a choice but to like a program like, and I could be wrong, but this is just my lifetime as a college football fan. A program like Oregon wasn't always, thought. You think of Oregon now, you're like, that's a good program, and they're winning 10+ every year. They weren't always thought of that way. But you go a decade and you win big for a decade straight or 10 years straight, you change the perception of your program that way. So that's why I think it's important, man. If you can win 8+ this year, you really do start to change the perception of, okay, South Carolina is really here to stay. They're not going to fall off, right? They're going to be an 8+ win team every year, which would be a great start for the program. It would.
Oh, yeah, without doubt. So I appreciate it, man.
Hunter, you're the man. I appreciate the call. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, great stuff from Hunter Kelly as always. Guys, let's go ahead and jump into our first break of the day. On the other side, I want to continue to hear from you. More of your questions, comments, calls, and more. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Taking their questions, comments, calls. 843-790-3377. That is 843-790-3377 here on this Tuesday, April the 18th, 2023. Again, guys, appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you all so much for the continued love and support. Of course, let me remind you, Thursday, we are at Carolina Ale House, Fort Mill, as we continue the spring tour. Just 2 stops left. Going to be a really, really good time. Looking forward to hanging out with all the Fort Mill Gamecocks and all the Gamecocks in the Charlotte area as well. It'll also serve as a watch party as Gamecocks baseball takes on Florida at 7:30. The game is on ESPNU. So, again, looking forward to hanging out with you guys. We'll have the Beamer Ball to the Moon Tour shirts for sale, the towels, the koozies. We'll have koozies to give away. You guys know the drill. Going to be a great night at Carolina Ale House in Fort Mill. And, of course, next Thursday, our final stop of the tour as we head to Myrtle Beach, beautiful Myrtle Beach, to hang out with you guys. Going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. Again, guys, thank you all so much for the love, the support. Appreciate you all tuning in and appreciate your understanding, by the way. If I was a little bit harsh, I apologize, but just had some things I need to get off my chest in regards to the callers that call into this show who we value greatly, but just something needed to be said, and I have been putting off for a while. So I saw somebody comment, by the way, that there are rumors. JCH 2016 on Twitch says, have you heard the rumors that Jordan Burch is unhappy in Oregon and wanting to come back? Now, that would be interesting. You know, when it comes to that, guys, I guess I would just say this. It comes down to what is the relationship like between Burch and Shane Beamer, and what type of, what type of exit did he have? What type of exit did he have? Is it one of those things where it was an ugly exit, or was it an understanding, or what have you? So, that would be pretty wild, but you're probably going to see that in the portal. You might see that. I mean, listen, the grass is not always greener on the other side, guys. The grass is not always greener, It's not. So, and I think a lot of guys are they're going to figure that out. They're going to figure that out. So, that would be nuts. I have not seen that rumor, heard that rumor, nothing like that. But, yes, I mean, that's the first I've heard of it. But that would be something. That would be something. Coach Ford says, we have an unknown OC, no RB1, no running back depth, no wide receiver depth, the suspect O-line along with the D that lost a lot. Coach Ford, did you hear Brad Crawford's comments yesterday? He's actually very high on the wide receivers. And I thought what stood out the most from what Brad had to say is that he feels like Xavier Legette can be a 700 to 800 yard receiver this year, which I think would be incredible. I mean, I think that'd be a fantastic year for Xavier Legette. And that's probably above what I was expecting for him and what my expectations probably even will be. But, I mean, if you could have Juice Wells go over 1,000 and Legette have 700 to 800, I think you had a pretty good offense. I think you had a really good offense. How about Mark Ryan, too, saying yesterday on his radio show that he can't see anybody holding the Gamecocks under 30 points per game. So a lot of people left that spring game very high on the Gamecocks offense. I feel good about the offense. I ain't willing to say all that, though. That feels maybe a little bit aggressive. That feels like a bit of a spring game overreaction, if you will. So, anyways, 843-790-3377. Greg Bedinger says in the Big Cock Club Discord, if our O-line struggles again, we could only win 6 or 7 games. Just looking ahead of the season, I just think to myself, what deems success and failure, what have you. I mean, I think 8-4, 8 wins or more, everybody will be happy. Everybody will be happy, right? I don't think 7-5 is a failure. I think it's an average season, right? It's a season in which, guys, and I talked about this last year, as long as you're making bowl games in the first, I'd say 5 seasons, and you're winning a couple of big games here. They're like last year, for example. Yeah, you won 8 games, but you also beat Tennessee and Clemson in the process. And that was, that was really what put the signature, I think, on your season. And I think those 2 wins, guys, helped massively in recruiting. I mean, absolutely, because they showed promise for the future of what you can be, right? So even if you go 7-5, if you're able to reel off some big wins, if you can beat Clem Sucks for the second year in a row, I think you can continue to keep the positive momentum on the recruiting trail, which is what's most important, right? As long as you're recruiting well, your program has a chance to reach great heights. 6-6 is a massive disappointment, I think. And 5-7 or worse is a complete failure. It's a complete failure. The goal, in my opinion, should be 8-4 minimum, absolute minimum. And I'm talking, of course, guys, and I shouldn't have to preface this, but from the fan perspective, of course, the goal inside the building is to win every game. We get that. I'm just saying, though, that 8-4 or better, I think, should be deemed a successful season, right? Because of, this team has real question marks. There's no doubt. This team's got real question marks. I'm not even sure that I expected this amount of question marks going into this season. But here we are, right? And it's like I taught last summer as well, right? The Garnet Glasses view of things, the chicken curse view of things, and the realistic view of things. Because what you have to understand, and I think some people, they miss this when they make their predictions. They see it, for example, South Carolina's game against Tennessee last year. And people predict the season based off of, okay, we're going to play that way. We're going to play that way, right? Every single week. And that's just not the case, guys. Your team's not going to play their A-plus game every single week. So some things are going to work out better than you expect. Some things are going to work out worse than you expect. Some things are going to be right in the middle, exactly where we expect them, right? So you have to think of it that way, and you got to be realistic about it, right? But again, there's a Garnet Glasses view, chicken curse view, and a realistic view. And so I think 8-4 is right there in the middle. I think 9-3 would be a great season. 10-2 is probably unrealistic. Let's just call it for what it is. It probably is. It probably is. 7-5 could definitely happen. 6-6, I think you're not giving enough credit to what Carolina's got. But, and there's 2 sides of looking at everything I'm about to say, but you go down the list. Hey, big question marks. Spencer Rattler and his consistency. Dowell Loggins is a play caller. Who knows? The running back position. Who the hell's RB1? O-line. Looks like you might have just lost your left tackle for the season. You lost 2 starters from last year. Now you might lose Nichols for the year. So you got 3 starters gone. Question marks there. And the O-line, it's not like we had the best O-line in college football last year. You're middle of the pack at best. Wide receivers? Who's wide receiver 2 out of juice? I mean, Nick Harbor's a great athlete, but he's a true freshman. What can you do? I am excited for Nick Harbor, though. Defensive front. Couldn't stop the run at all. Who's going to play edge? Is Brian Thomas Jr. actually that good? Can you stop the run? Linebacker, I think you upgraded. I really do. Will Mo Kaba be 100%? We'll see. Hey, Pup Howard's a freshman. Tough transition. Stone Blanton, has he improved, right? A lot of people told me Chrissy was slow last year. Has he improved? And in the secondary, you lose your top 2 guys, both NFL guys. And I know especially our big Cock Club guys, they love to talk Marcellus Island and all that, but now the pressure's on him, right? There is no Cam Smith and Debrius Rush to, and you're just kind of the fun third guy. It's on you now. Your DB number 1 is Marcellus Dial, ready to be DB number 1, not 3, number 1, right? He's going up against their best every week. And O'Donnell Fortune, who did some nice things last year, but he's got a lot to prove as well. So if you want question marks, there are question marks all over the football team. Now on the flip side, right? On the flip side, everything I just said could swing the positive, beamer ball to the moon, and we might win 9 games. I mean, so it's intriguing. That's what makes it so much fun to talk about, though, is you can literally look at it both sides. There's a lot of unknowns. There's a lot of unknowns, right? And that's literally what makes college football so much fun, is we try to predict and dissect and and give our thoughts on things. And we just, you don't really know. You don't really know. That's what makes it fun. Let's see. Travis says Leggett and Wells can be the dudes. Coach Ford says Leggett and the kid from Memphis must step up. I agree with you. Eddie Lewis needs to pan out. They targeted him a lot in the spring game. He needs to play a big role. Amarian Brown needs to play a big role. Dakereon Joyner, if he slides back out, needs to play a big role. Let's jump to the phone lines here.
Call from
Robbie Davis, Zaxby's Hall of Famer.
Robbie, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm gonna go ahead and call in real quick because I'm going home back to Monk's Corner later on this evening. So I'm gonna give you my 3 things and then I'm gonna get off of here. First things first, if I ever start my own podcast and stuff, okay, I already know who my first guest is gonna be.
I'd be honored. It'd be a privilege. Truly.
I didn't even have to say your name, and you already knew.
I'd be honored, Robbie. I'd be honored. Maybe I made an unfair assumption to say it would be myself.
But anyways, now, and I thought about this last night. If we don't get a running back, a proven running back out of the portal, okay, who do you think could be the guy if we don't get a running back out of the portal?
From what I saw on Saturday in the spring game, to me, Mario Anderson looks like he most looks like an RB1. I like things that Dakereon Joyner did. And so if they wanted to run with him as the RB1, then, let's go. Let's see. You know what I mean? Like when I look at obviously I think easily it's easy to gravitate to Mario Anderson because he's literally done it before, no matter what level it was at. I mean, the guy's ran for over 3,000 yards in his college career. So he's been an RB1 before. And then what does Dontavius Braswell do, the true freshman? Can you really, are you going to lean on a true freshman to be RB1? I'd probably side though with Mario Anderson at this point. Like if we didn't add anybody else, I'd probably side with Mario Anderson, and I think Juju and Dakereon Joyner be more so kind of like your gadget backs, and I don't say that disrespectfully. I just say that based off like what their skill set is. I would probably say Mario Anderson would be kind of your bell cow every down kind of guy.
Yeah, I liked what I saw from him too. And I had no idea that Braswell could pitch.
Yeah, he pitched last year.
Not a clue.
He pitched last year. He closed out a couple of games last year. So, yeah, no, he did. He did. Early in the season, he did for sure. So,
Okay. So, you basically got an extra arm in case you need it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he
And
did
I
pitch last year.
Think, I can't remember which game it was that he pitched last year, but I do remember seeing him pitch.
Yeah,
I
he
was
pitched some
shocked.
he pitched some non-conference games early in the season last year. Yeah. So he was good too. He was very good. Very good.
And I definitely think that we'll bounce back tonight after losing 2 of 3 to Vandy. My prediction for tonight is 8-3. I think we take care of business tonight and win 8-3. And I got kind of concerned after losing 2 of 3 to Vandy because I was like, are we still going to be in the top 10 after this? But then, like you always say, like baseball, you just never know, right?
Yeah, we didn't even move. I think, you don't see if you moved teams up and down after every series loss. I mean, it'd just be pure chaos in the top 25. Yeah. So especially you lose 2 of 3, 2 hard-fought games against the 4th-ranked team in the country on the road. Yeah. You're not going to get penalized a whole lot for that. Now, if you lost 2 or 3 again, you'd probably slide down a little bit. I don't care if they're ranked 3rd in the country. It's you would start to – they may start to question you a little bit. You probably wouldn't even move out of the top 10, though. I mean, when you're playing the when you're playing the best competition, like, we've seen teams lose to LSU 2 out of 3, and – they didn't even move at all because it's like you're playing the number 1 team in the country. I mean, how much are you going to penalize a team for losing to number 1? You know what I mean? It doesn't mean you're not good. It just means they're really good. So, And so I think it's one of those things where, yeah, you didn't see South kind of move. I think it made a lot of sense. And I mean, so it's tough to move up as well, too, though, because I mean, those teams and there's a lot of preseason bias that goes into the rankings I've talked about before. I mean, you'd be foolish not to think that. But as long as you're staying in that top 8 and you're in that national seed conversation, you're in a good spot.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
For sure. And I think, like I said yesterday, I definitely think if the season was to start next week, which obviously we got several months until then, I would not be surprised, solely based off of what I saw Saturday night, if LaNorris Sellers was the starting QB, or not the starting QB, but if he was QB2, if the season was to start next week. I would not be surprised. He's got a lot of upside. He's an athlete. He played very smart, didn't try to overdo it, and that's what you want out of your quarterback.
Yeah. No, for sure. He
So-
showed you that. I mean, the combination of size, speed, escapability, the arm strength. I mean, we all recall that one play where the ball snapped over his head. He picks it up, runs out, and throws it down the field. I mean, that's just that almost – it's one of those things you just can't really coach, that type of athleticism and the arm strength on the run like that. So, you know, I'll say this. Maybe there's some overreaction in regards to like LaNorris Sellers is going to win the Heisman. He's going to lead us to, you know, we had our guy Ryan in the Big Cop Club Discord. I don't mean to call him out, but he literally said if LaNorris Sellers doesn't win a national championship, his career didn't meet expectations. I'm like, I think that's a little aggressive. But, you know, I think certainly he's got the skill set and the tools to where, I mean, I could undoubtedly see him starting for South Carolina next year. Like he looks the part at least early on. I think as long as he's developed properly, which we believe he will be, there's no reason why he can't be a big-time SEC quarterback.
For sure. And well, that's all I got. I'm done. So,
Robbie, you're the man. I appreciate you calling in as always. Yeah.
Oh, no problem. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, man. Sounds good. Appreciate you, Robbie. You're the man.
Safe travels to Fort Mill.
Yeah,
Safe
for sure.
travels,
For
safe
sure.
travels.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
You too, buddy. All
Yeah,
right,
man.
Bye-bye.
Great stuff. Robbie Davis, as always. Fantastic to hear from Robbie. Let's see. And yeah, LaNorris Sellers, guys, I'll say this. Maybe there's some overreaction. You know, I'll tell you this, because I know my guy Bruin Nation joked with me, and I agree with him. I thought I was going to catch hell. I thought I was going to catch hell from the masses for my take on Luke Doty, but I think at this point it's just almost so no-brainer that nobody got upset, which is funny. But, you know, whatever. Whoever's QB2 this year, does it really even matter? They're not going to play. Hardly at all, right? Hardly at all. Although I'd love to see LaNorris Sellers get some snaps, play his 4 games, and still take his red shirt, right? But I don't know. I'll tell you this. To say that today, like, LaNorris Sellers is going to be QB1, there's no doubt next year. Maybe that's a little bit of an overreaction because you never know. However, to say that LaNorris Sellers is going to be a major factor in the quarterback battle next season and could be QB1, that is absolutely fair. That is absolutely fair, right? So, you know, he's got the skill set. Again, you just don't find a lot of guys with that size, that speed, that talent, that ability, the arm strength. It's all there. I mean, it's all there. As long as he's developed properly and you surround him with quality pieces, and they've got quality pieces on the way, I don't see any reason why LaNorris Sellers cannot be the dude. Now, hey, may the best man win. I don't have a preference. I don't have a preference. At the end of the day, you kind of have to trust your coaching staff, and who they throw out there is who obviously they've seen in practice and they say this is the best available. But man, it's just hard to ignore the upside and the raw talent that LaNorris Sellers has. Guys, I want to speak to something, by the way, that speaking of Luke Doty, that dropped yesterday, and the fan upstate, right? I went on Mark Ryan's show, and it, you know, Mark, and I think it's Diesel that throws the tweets out. They've got a way of positioning headlines that get you to chime in, to click, to engage. And I respect it, right? That's half of like being able to market your content on social media. That's a huge part of it, right? Because on one hand, they posted something, Mark's comment, I'd be surprised if any opponent holds South Carolina under 30 points. That tweet has 836 impressions. 836. The tweet of my segment going on their show about Luke Doty, asking what would I do if I was Luke Doty, right? That one's got 38.3 thousand. Now, the headline says this: with Luke Doty seemingly falling down the South Carolina quarterback depth chart, should he transfer? We put the Spurs Up Show's Chris Phillips in Luke's shoes and asked him what he would do. And he says, ... So I'll even say this. After reading the headline a second time, it's not a misleading thing at all, because I was asked, Chris, what would you do if you were Luke Doty? And I know what Luke Doty's going to do. He's a Gamecock through and through. He's not going anywhere. But, and I'll say this, I know that fans gripe and complain about players hitting the portal. Where's the loyalty? Like, there's no loyalty to the school. And in some instances, right, and I guess that's what kind of sucks, is we just kind of have to connect the dots and make the assumption of why certain guys are in the portal. Like some guys, there's no secret, it's a bag. Jaheim Bell, he left for a bag. Marshawn Lloyd, he left for a bag. Because it ain't playing time. It's not playing time. So it's either, you don't like your coaching staff, you hate the school you're at, you hate where the school is or the location, which all three of those things are really weird because you're the one that chose the school in the first place. And so unless the coaching staff has been fired, like, I don't know what could have changed to where you're disgruntled with that. So the other reason's playing time, or it's the bag, right? So in those situations, if fans want to be disgruntled, so be it. But when it comes to a guy transferring because he wants to play more, like, miss me with the whole loyalty thing. Miss me with, what about your commitment? Like, guys, there is no glory in sitting on the bench. So when I was asked what I would do if I was Luke Doty, and I'm not Luke Doty, right? And I don't know his situation, but I'll speak generically on just all college football players that these guys are highly touted recruits. Luke Doty was a 4-star, but they're highly touted recruits, right? They come to college with all this promise and hope. And guys, everybody that goes to an SEC school, they got dreams of playing in the NFL. Pretty much every single one of them. They all think they're going to the league. And so what I just can't fathom is like, and you know what? If you're cool with just being an SEC football player and not playing and just getting free merch and going to the facility and chilling, that's your right. Blue Mountain State, baby. We've all seen Alex Moran and what he did as the backup quarterback. He lived the dream, right? But I don't know, man. Like, on one hand, I've been a college athlete, guys. Damn it, I wasn't a very good one. The stats are out there, right? I went to college and I shit the bed and did not play well. But I know what it feels like to not play. And it sucks. I mean, it sucks, dude. It sucks. Like, you go through all the work. You wake up at 5 a.m. for workouts. You go through every practice. You go through damn near more than the starters because you're trying to break through and start and get some playing time. And you still don't play and you get none of the glory. If a guy can go to a smaller school, go to a different school, and he can improve his situation, he can play, I don't know why he wouldn't do that. Miss me with honorable loyalty BS nonsense. Like, there's no honor in sitting the bench. There's no honor in it. There's no glory in it. There's nothing fun about it. There's just not. If you're going to go through all the work that everybody else got to go through, all the practices, all the weightlifting, why not get to play? That's all I'm saying. If guys are happy sitting the bench, then that's fine. That's their prerogative. But speaking from my perspective, sitting the bench is not fun. It's just not fun, guys. It's not fun. There's no way to spin it. Just getting a jersey and trotting out there and being a big man on campus, sure, it's got its perks, but it's not fun. It's not fun at all, and it wears on you. So, that's what I would do. I'm not Luke Doty, though. I'm not Dakereon Joyner. I'm not Colton Gauthier. I'm not other guys that aren't playing. It's just, I spoke from my perspective of what I would do, But I respect guys that just have this sense of commitment to I want to be at this university and be an alum and do my time and all that. And you have to respect it because it's such a foreign thing now. But at the same time with the portal, I don't know why, if it's so easy to go somewhere else and play, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? I don't know. Just my 2 cents. Anyways, guys, let's see. Ethan, do y'all think Birch and Lloyd regret leaving and go so far away and possibly get lost in the shuffle? I don't know. And Lynn, hey, to your point, she said, I heard Luke Doty's planning to go to medical school, has no reason to leave. I chose education for playing college basketball. I didn't want a liberal arts degree. Lynn, I mean, that's a very fair point. Listen, I started out as a biology major, hated it. That was a dumb decision I made. Switched to communications. Like, I didn't even finish, guys. I don't know if people don't know that, but I didn't even finish school. I went to college for 5 years. Didn't even get a degree. I'm an entrepreneur with no degree, baby. We're rolling out here. It's part of the story. School was the last thing on my mind. I didn't give a damn about school. You know what I mean? So everybody's got their own thing, and I'm not saying that I was cool for that. Like I should have locked in and been better at school. But everybody's got their own thing. But if you ask me, again, Mark Ryan posed the question, what would you do if you were Luke Doty? If I was Luke Doty, and I'm just solely talking about it from the football side of things, bro, I'd go play. Man. Being a hometown hero is cool and all, but you know what's cooler? Being a starting quarterback. Anyway, just my 2 cents. Let's jump into a quick break, guys. Taking more of your questions, comments, calls, and more on the other side. You're tuned to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Taking the questions, comments, calls. 843-790-3377. That is 843-790-3377 here on this Tuesday, April the 18th, 2023. John Edwards says, I think Lloyd is RB3 at Southern Cal. Okay. Let's see. My guy GA in the Big Cock Club Discord, Blue Mountain State. Dude, if you have not seen that show, find a way, man. And dude, one of the, GA probably doesn't even know this, one of the all-time interviews we've ever had, we had the coach of the GOATs. Trying to figure out what's... Coach Marty Daniels. We had Ed Marinero on the show. This was back in like 2019, 4 years ago. But I had him on the show. So, an all-time interview, if you never heard it. I mean, just legendary. Like you would never expect that. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I'll post the link. Let's see. I think this is it right here. Yep, here we go. It's episode... When did this drop? We were previewing the Kentucky series back in 2019. Here, I've got the link here. There it is. Yep. What an interview. What a time. May the 10th, 2019, I believe. May the 10th, 2019. That's when that dropped. That dropped before I even moved to Columbia. That's how long ago that we did that conversation. But that was an incredible convo. That was so cool, man. I mean, just a legend, right? Like, you would never expect to get a guy like that on your podcast. You would just never expect it. But sure enough. Anyways, guys, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. SportsCenter tweeted, who's your favorite villain in sports? I'll ask you guys, who's your favorite villain when it comes to the Gamecocks? Is there anybody? I said that a lot of people probably say TSUS. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. No idea. Again, guys, South Carolina taking on Charleston Southern tonight. Let's see. Let's get back into your questions here. Michael Lynn, for people thinking 6-6 sounds right, you obviously don't follow recruiting. Our talent is better than last year. I don't disagree with that, my friend. I just think is that young talent ready to play. And I think my guy, I don't know if he's tuned in, but my guy made a great point that I think, some of this season you could argue is based off of how your young guys play. How do your freshmen perform, right? I think a lot of this season comes down to that. I really do. I think a lot of your season comes down to how some youngsters play. So, guys, this is thinking way ahead, but I'll go ahead and tell you. Wow, Jake Crane, by the way. Our guy Jake Crane says, TJ Finley has an all-SEC ego with FCS ability. He needs to hop in the portal. That is hilarious, dude. That is so funny. Anyways, guys, just looking way ahead. Next week will be normal for the podcast and the Daily Crow. The following week, okay, so I am going on a cruise. TSUS is hitting a cruise ship. We're going on a cruise Saturday, April the 29th. We sail out, and we will not return until Thursday. I believe that's May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. I think that's May the 4th, if I do recall correctly. But we're going on a cruise that entire week. Yeah, Thursday, May the 4th. That entire week, there will be no TDC. Maybe we'll jump back in at May the 5th. We could. Why not? We might as well. May the 5th, we may have TDC, but there will be no TDC that Monday through Thursday. So quite a long hiatus from TDC. However, I've decided the podcast will drop. I've decided the podcast will happen. I will be recording the podcast from a cruise ship. So first time ever in the history of TDC. That'll be a lot of fun. Or excuse me, in the history of the podcast. That'll be a lot of fun. We'll record the podcast from a cruise ship. So anyways, I'll update you guys more on that next week. But just looking ahead, thinking ahead, yeah, we will take a vacation. The TSUS spring tour will end, and then we'll jump right on a cruise ship and go on vacation, if you will. So going to be a lot of fun, but I'm getting Wi-Fi for the room so I can still stay active. And, I can't just fall off the grid for like 5-6 days, man. It's just, you guys know I can't do that. You guys know I absolutely cannot do that. So, yeah. Anyways. Again, guys, 843-790-3377. I guess the big news today, in case you missed it, the ESPN FPI, Football Power Index, has dropped. And South Carolina is 42nd. So do with that information what you will. Let's take a look at the SEC baseball schedule for tonight. Got a couple good ones. A lot of teams in action. Florida takes on FAMU. Tennessee Tech. Kentucky Xavier. How about Georgia travels to Clem Sucks? How about that? Auburn Samford. Mizzou State. UAB hosting Alabama. Vanderbilt takes on Indiana State. Arkansas State hosting Ole Miss. Ole Miss plays some really weird midweeks. Have you guys noticed that? I don't know. Arkansas, Central Arkansas, of course, Carolina, Charleston Southern. And then finally, how about a good one here? LSU and the Louisiana Ragin' Cajuns are going to Baton Rouge. That'll be a fun one. That's always a fun one when those two teams go at each other. So Wesley Bowles says, how did the transfer from Newberry College do it in the spring game? I don't have his stats pulled up, Wesley, but I thought he looked good. I thought he flashed. To keep it a buck and be transparent, guys, to follow up on the running back conversation, which I've actually got a clip that'll drop basically right after TDC about the running back, some stuff we talked about yesterday. And I don't think this is breaking news. I don't think you truly have an SEC caliber running back on the roster. I just don't. Not a true RB1. Not a true RB1. Do you guys think you have 1,000-yard back on the roster? Like a back that's capable of it? I just don't see it. I just flat out don't see it. Again, I think they need to go to the portal and be active. And will they? We'll see. I mean, we know Shane Beamer is known for doing so. But, again, I don't think you have one. So I think it's important for the Gamecocks to get back in the portal, hammer the edge, hammer running back, but get back in the portal and take care of business in that regard. So our good friend Brad Crawford, let me jump into this, guys. He ranked all 14 starting quarterbacks in the SEC after spring ball, exiting spring practice ahead of 2023. He gave them grades and ranked them. So let's go down this list. You guys tell me where you agree and disagree. How about this? Coming in at 14th. Coming in at 14th. Dead last. Dead last. Graham Mertz of Florida with a C grade. Things are going really well for Billy Napier in Gainesville. 13, Robbie Ashford from Auburn. Gave him a B grade. Number 12, Brady Cook at Mizzou. He did not get a grade because he missed the entire spring with injury. At 11, Jackson Dart from Ole Miss, coming in with a B. At number 10, Connor Wegman at Texas A&M, coming in with a B. Number 9, A.J. Swan from Vandy, coming in with a spring grade of A. Number 8, Devin Leary at Kentucky, spring grade of B+. Number 7, Jalen Milroe of Alabama, did not get a spring grade because their spring game is this weekend. Number 6, Will Rogers at Mississippi State. His spring grade is a B. At number 5, Spencer Rattler, spring grade of B+. I'm going to read his excerpt on Spencer Rattler in just a second. Number 4, Joe Milton of Tennessee, Brendan and Dalton's favorite quarterback, coming into the spring grade, a B+. Number 3, Carson Beck at Georgia, a spring grade of A. Number 2, Jaden Daniels of LSU, spring grade, not available because they play on Saturday. And number 1, KJ Jefferson of Arkansas, spring grade of B+. So let's go back to what he has to say about Spencer Rattler. He says, Spencer Rattler worked with fluidity within Dowell Loggins' first-year offense during Saturday night's spring game for South Carolina inside Williams-Brice Stadium, hooking up with wide receiver 1 Juice Wells several times for big plays. It looks like the addition of Arkansas tight end transfer Trey Knox will pay off in a big way for the Gamecocks this fall, and 5-star 2023 signing Nicholas Harbor is going to get reps on the outside as well. Losing tackle Jalen Nichols to a potential long-term knee injury is something to watch for a team that could be looking at offensive line help in the portal. Rattler's 2023 numbers should be an improvement over what we saw for much of his first season in the SEC. So, there you go. 5th, I think that's fair. I think that's fair. Lynn Turner, glad we didn't get Napier now. I mean, yeah, Lynn, I'm very glad. I'm very glad. It is surprising how it's going down there. Florida's a tough job, though, man. Florida's a tough job. I mean, in regards to resources, you have them all. You've got history, tradition, but the expectations are just so high at a school like Florida, and if you ain't winning immediately, you're done. You're cooked. You are cooked. Let's see. Anyways, guys, appreciate you all tuning in. Really, truly love the opportunity, guys, to come on here, talk ball, conversate, what have you. It's a fun thing, man. I really do enjoy it, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to do so. So. By the way, guys, quick question for you. This came out last night, and I want to get you guys' thoughts. This is one where I really do want to hear your feedback. Arkansas gifted their players rings for winning the Liberty Bowl. And I say this sort of tongue-in-cheek because we've given out rings for winning bowl games. I don't recall if the Gamecocks gave out rings for winning the Duke's Mayo Bowl. So forgive me for not having that information on hand, and I guess if they did, whatever. It really doesn't even change this conversation because I just want to pose the question to you all. What do you think about it? Giving out rings for winning bowl games, like small bowl games. Should something like rings be saved for winning championships? It just, I don't know, like, and the Gamecocks, gave out rings for winning 11 games, right? Back when Spurrier was there, they gave out rings for winning the craziest one I saw, I think it was, is it Hardy Sanders on Twitter? Yeah, Hardy Sanders on Twitter, who played at South Carolina back in the mid-2000s. And he replied to my original tweet and showed me a ring that he got from the Outback Bowl loss against Iowa. Now, to me, getting a ring just for going to a bowl game, that seems crazy, man. That to me seems nuts. Just for going, not even winning the bowl game, just for going? I don't know, man. That just, I don't know. Like, and I'm not trying to be like the old man yelling at the clouds type deal, but what do y'all think? Fair or foul? Should teams award rings for just simply going to a bowl game? Should there be a cutoff in regards to, like, if the bowl, like, which bowl games you get rings for? Does that make any sense? Like, what do you guys think? What do you think in that regard? Frank says, nope, national championship, conference championship only. Lynn Turner says, no rings for bowl games other than top tier, no 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 than top tier. Okay, guys, we are back. Sorry about that. The hackers strike. I have no clue what happened, but here we are. Okay, you guys still alive? The rambling caller hackers. Damn you, Sat. I don't know what it is. I don't know why it happens. I don't know, man. Is it just part of this show? It's just like death, taxes, and hackers. I don't know. It's not the power. It's my power did not go out. It's just the Melon streaming platform. Just I think sometimes hits a glitch or the really what it is the camera goes out. That's the biggest thing. And so maybe I don't know if it's this camera. I might look into upgrading the camera here soon and getting something a little bit higher quality, but I don't know. Eric Reese, what's up, my guy? Appreciate you, all your hard work, my friend. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your work, my dude. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Again, guys, an exciting week. Tomorrow we'll have Mark Ryan on the airwaves, which I'm sure will be an electric factory. Thursday we'll have JC Sherbert, which will be really interesting to get his thoughts after the spring game and some updates on some injuries, obviously, some rumors that are happening right now, right? So, going to be really, really interesting to see. Be really interesting to see for sure. Austin Garcia says another Lloyd situation with Jordan Burch. Where are these rumors, Austin? If they're per sources, I understand why nobody can say anything. But where are they coming from? Because this is the first I'm hearing of this. Would be really interesting though. That'd be very, very interesting for sure. Anyways, guys, let's jump into one final break. On the side, I want to continue to hear from you more, your questions, comments, calls, and more. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Taking the questions, comments, calls. 843-790-3377. And I see many of you commenting. I'll jump straight into it. The Jordan Burch rumors. I see Bruin Nation asking, Eric Reese. So this was the first I had heard of it, guys, like an hour ago. But apparently, per sources, right? Here we go with the rumor mill. Apparently, there's a rumor out there that Jordan Burch is not as thrilled being at Oregon as maybe he thought he would be, and that there was interest from his side of things in him coming back to South Carolina. Again, I learned of this today. We will ask J.C. Sherbert about this on Thursday. So yeah. Anyways. Yeah. Apparently there is a lot of chatter in regards to that Burch would like to come back. Wild. Just crazy, dude. Just crazy. So, I mean, I think it's a situation, guys, where, again, it just shows sometimes the transfer portal can backfire. Anyways, that's wild. Anyways, got about 13 minutes to go. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. So, Bruin Nation says he can DN3 earn his way back up the depth chart. I mean, here's the thing. I'll say this because I see a lot of people replying, and it's funny, right? I think most people would expect me to say, hey, to hell with you, don't come back. I think it really would just depend on what the exit was like. Was there a severing of the relationship? I'll say this, though. It's hard to believe that there wasn't. You know, and I think you have to ask yourself, does Shane Beamer want a guy like that in his program? That's what you have to ask yourself, right? For what he's building right now, I just don't know. Would Jordan Burch be worth what it would mean for your locker room, for your culture, et cetera? I don't know. I don't know. That's a decision that Shane Beamer would have to make. Whatever my prediction means, I highly doubt it would happen, but we'll see. Apparently, Burch, though, would like to come back to South Carolina. That is the rumor, which is just crazy when you think about it. Here's the thing. Burch's move made no sense anyways. He had a bag at Carolina. It may not have been as much as Oregon, but he had a bag. And we talked about this when it happened. He was the hometown hero, right? He was a guy that, even though the statistics weren't really there for a guy that had his recruiting profile, he was solid last year. I mean, he wasn't an All-American. He was solid, right? He was solid. That's it. But he was embraced and loved by Carolina and the fan base because he was a five-star guy that chose to stay home when he could have went anywhere, including Oregon. And so, I mean, his up and leaving, it just never made a lot of sense. And I'll be honest, a lot of the up and leaving didn't make a lot of sense. I mean, Jaheim Bell was maybe the only one, and I think South Carolina, honestly, guys, got a cancer out of their locker room from everything we heard about him and his interactions with the coaching staff, strength coach specifically. I mean, I heard a crazy story about. Anyways, I won't even get into it. But I think South Carolina, I think that was the best move, probably for both sides. Jaheim Bell not being a part of the Gamecocks football program, but the Burch and the Lloyd stuff, that was crazy. I mean, that was crazy. You know what I mean? Both guys, starters. Both guys going to be big-time impact players. Both guys had impacts last year. Why? Why leave? Why leave? I don't know. Anyways, just crazy, dude. So, I mean, if that is true, and it sounds like it is, that Birch has serious interest and would like to come back to South Carolina? Wow. And it just goes to show again, the grass is not always greener on the other side. The grass is greener where you water it. And it's tough, and you almost feel a sense of, you almost kind of feel bad for some of these guys because they're not the only ones making these decisions. Got mom, got dad, got uncle, got auntie, got nephew, whoever it is, your agent, I don't know. But sometimes I think you have it much better than you realize, and you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them. You got to have some perspective and some self-awareness, by the way. And so you hear a guy like Jordan Birch might be interested in coming back. It's like, damn, you didn't realize what you had. You just did not realize what you had. And we'll see what decision Shane Beamer makes if that is actually a thing. But again, it just goes to show in this transfer portal era, you better make sure. You just better make sure, because now you don't know, right? Now you're at the mercy of, does this coaching staff, does this program, do they want to take you back? And how will this fan base receive you if you come back? Honestly, I mean, I don't know. Be interesting for sure. Bruin Nation, Chris, put that Twitter poll out there. You got more followers. Would Gamecock Nation welcome him back? I got you, Bruin Nation. I got you. I mean, I think this, Bruin Nation, I think more would, I think he would be welcome back. I do, just because Gamecock fans, I mean, once he puts that garnet and black back on, he's a Gamecock, Bruin Nation. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's a Gamecock once he puts that garnet and black back on. So no matter how you feel about him, you're going to pull for him to do well. I mean, obviously, you're going to pull for him to do well, because his doing well, like, that's what I've always told people, is that there's people out there that think I've got some not beef, but just like, I dislike this player or dislike that player. I want this guy to not do well, that guy to not do well. I hate this guy, that guy. Guys, listen. I don't care who the player is or what sport it is. What's in their best interest and them doing well and having success means success for South Carolina. And guess what? Success for South Carolina, it means success for TSUS. And it means success for us all. It's good for us all. So I only want the best for all these guys. You know what I mean? Because I want to see South Carolina win as many football games as possible. Ruben Nation says Birch was loved here. People out there don't even realize, or didn't even know he was never able to take his game to the next level. And there goes my feed. Let's jump to the phone lines.
DocuSystems. To accept, press 1. To send.
What's going on? How are you? And there goes the call. I don't know, guys. Hackers I don't know who that caller was, but that caller, I think, hacked us a little bit. I don't know. That caller hacked us. I don't know. That was weird. Just went out. We just went out for a second. Gavin said Russian bots. Yeah, I don't know who that was that called in, but if you'd like to try again, you're more than welcome to. 843-790-3377. Greg Bedinger said in the Big Cock Club Discord that to the ring conversation, we give out rings for going to bowl games. At least they did in the 80s. My friends on the team got one for the 1987 Gator Bowl. Okay. I mean, whatever. Reese, give me a stat line for Petrie tonight. Here's a stat line for you, Eric Reese. 0 for 0, because Petrie gets the night off. I don't know, actually. He might not get the night off. He doesn't need a night off. He's a freshman. I'll go 2 for 4 with a homer. 2 for 4 with a homer. When in doubt, just say Petrie's going to hit a homer. Let's see. Josh says off topic, but how bad is Marcelo Zuna? I haven't watched a ton of the Braves. I'll be honest with you. I have not watched a ton of the Braves. So I can't really speak on it. Eric Reese, low-key disappointed that Cass has not been able to find some consistency at the plate recently. I mean, he's in a slump. He's in a slump, Eric. He is. I mean, I'm sure, guys, I'm sure nobody's taking it harder than him because he literally went up against his old team and went 1 for 11. I mean, I'm sure he wanted to have a much more, much bigger return than that, and he didn't. So I know it sucks for him. It absolutely sucks for him. But, you know, I think Cass is a guy. I think he'll get it going again. I think he will. I think he'll get it going again. Let's see. Just crazy. The FBI is just crazy, bro. Just crazy. Austin Miller, FanDuel has South Carolina as a 1.5-point dog in week 1. Your thoughts? Yeah, I mean, it's shocking, dude. It's not shocking, but it's just, you know, they're high on UNC. I mean, people are high on UNC. I mean, as the Gamecocks have shown, guys, they don't care about being an underdog. They don't care. I think it's fair to say, though, that UNC game, you could argue it's the most important game of the year. I know we've talked about that a lot, and of course, we'll talk about that in the summer when I do my predictions, and then at that point, I will lock in what I think is the most important game of the year. But, guys, I've posed this question before. Could you not argue that the Clem Sucks game is the most important? I mean, is that not fair? Like, because I feel like, let me ask you this. If you go 8-4, you lose to UNC week 1, but you beat Clem Sucks at the end of the season, I think you had a successful year. I think you could go 7-5, but if you beat Clem Sucks, people 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 Clem Sucks, people. All right, I'm going to close this out on the FaceTime camera because I don't know what's going on with this guy, this Logitech guy. I might have to get a new one. I don't know what's going on. Jesus. Muschamp hackers are definitely on one today, guys, and you see the difference in the camera. It is just not even remotely close. Anyways, interesting day. Some days it glitches and some days it doesn't. I don't know. Frank says 9-3, you lose to Tennessee, Georgia, and Clem Sucks. That's a good year? No, yeah, but that's absolutely Frank. If you go 9-3, you had a good year no matter what. I think you had a good year no matter what. Guys, thank you all for your patience, by the way. I know the hackers are annoying. Trust me, they're annoying to yours truly. So I appreciate your patience and you guys rolling with the punches and just kind of rocking with us either way. Truly, I mean it when I say thank you because some people would be turned off by it and not tuned in, and you guys continue to show up, and I think it's because we just kind of keep the yucks coming and keep it transparent that, hey, you know what? It just happens. So whatever. Either way, guys, hey, we've hit 2 o'clock. Thank you all so much. Appreciate you all tuning in. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. We will talk to you all